Hi, I'm Gareth Green, and in this video we're going to have a look at a great George Michael number, Careless Whisper. In fact, we're only going to look at the introduction. Why are we doing that? Because I really want to share with you how this particular music is so iconic from the outset because of the use of extended chords. Not only the chords, but also how the extended chords get used melodically. So I think it gives us a real insight into the kind of magic, if you like, of how this particular song works, which is useful, isn't it? Because, well, why does this song have such popular appeal? And if we're composers or arrangers, is there something we could maybe take away from this? Well, I've put the basic chord outline of this introduction up on the board, and we'll unpack that in a moment. But just to remind you, this is how the intro goes. And on we go. You get loads of different arrangements and presentations of that, and there's some rhythmic variation in it as well. But that's the outline of it. Now, here's the plan. D minor, G minor 7, F/A, B flat major 7, A minor. So first of all, let's just hear those chords without the extensions. So we've got a D minor chord, we've got a G minor chord, we've got an F/A chord, we've got a B flat major chord and an A minor chord. Well, if you just heard those chords, you wouldn't particularly think there was anything special about them, would you? Okay, well, let's put the extensions in. So we've got the D minor chord, here's the G minor 7. It's a really nice chord, isn't it? Really so much richer than just the plain G minor. The F/A chord, and then the B flat major 7. Isn't that a great chord? Lovely rich chord. And then the A minor 7 that follows on from it. And also you get this kind of common note, don't you? The 7th of that B flat major 7 is A, and of course A is at the root of this A minor 7 as well. So there's a kind of connection and that progression. So just having the extended chords makes a huge difference, doesn't it, from just having plain triads. Well, how many songs do you know that don't really go down the route of extended chords? We just have plain chords, just plain triads, and you think, well, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but often you think it's just lacking something that extended chords can bring us. So you just take a chord like that G minor chord, and as soon as you put a 7th on it, it's already a richer chord. You can put a 9th on it and make it even richer. You can go as far as you want to with the 11th, the 13th. You know, by extending chords, we can really kind of add something to the music. And the balance between ordinary chords that are not extended and extended chords is quite interesting. You know, what have we got here? We've got 5 chords. Well, what have we got in terms of chords that are not extended? 2 of the 5. And the other 3 chords are extended chords. Makes a big difference. The other thing, apart from the harmony, is it also gives us a little bit more melodic opportunity. Because when you think about what's happening in Careless Whisper, you know, it's not just the chords, but what about this line running across the top? Well, that's interesting in itself, because even though the D minor is a kind of plain chord, is what most people are playing in the accompaniment, when you look at the melody, you think, hang on, what's this E doing in there? Because that E is an extension, isn't it? Because if I've got a D minor chord, D, F, A, if I extend it, C is a 7th, but E is a 9th. So melodically, we've got a 9th built into the melody. Well, by implication, that's also their part of the harmony, isn't it? So maybe that's another extended chord. As I say, it's not kind of written into the harmony as such, but it's there in the melody. And by using that ninth, doesn't it give the melodic line something really distinctive? Imagine if this had been written without the ninth. Well, it's all right, isn't it? But it's not nearly as good as having that ninth. So expressive, isn't it, having that ninth in there? What about the opening leap, going from the F up to the E? You know, that rising seventh, so expressive, isn't it? And that's all because you've got this ninth in the melody. And then, of course, you can also put a seventh into the harmony if you want to. Ninth and a seventh. Or you might think, well, that's a bit too much, so maybe I'll have the ninth without the seventh. And then you can always add it maybe at the end of the bar as a kind of passing note, just to turn the D minor into a seventh as we've lost the ninth at the top. Suddenly you see what's going on here. Okay, well, we've talked about G minor 7 here because you get G minor 7 in the harmony, which is great. But again, what's happening in the melody? C, B flat, F, D. Well, what's the C doing there? Well, here's G minor, G, B flat, D. The seventh is F. This is the ninth as A. The 11th is the C. So do you see, he's got this 11th going on top of the G minor 7. And it's so expressive. Again, you've got this rising leap. And then again, it's going up a seventh. Very distinctive, very memorable. But if it had just been G minor 7, would have been okay, wouldn't it? But that C really adds something. So it's partly a harmonic thing, this, but it's how the extended chord is used melodically that I think is also part of the secret here. And then a little move at the end of that bar, so we just mitigate the richness of the extended chord by having that F/A at the end of that particular bar. And then in the next bar we've got this B flat. And there's just a seventh tucked in there, it's in the harmony, but it's also in the melody because B flat, A, F, D, B flat. So the seventh is giving you all this opportunity for melodic design, which makes a huge difference to the impact of it. Another thing you notice is in these opening sort of 3 bars of the thing, we've got lots of leaps in the melody, kind of basically working up and down these extended chords. And then what happens next is it all goes by scale run. And that's our little link, isn't it, to the repetition of this same cycle again, because the introduction is going round this particular pattern twice. And this is your little link, isn't it? Just having this scale bar, the A minor 7 bar. And it's just going by step, going this very gradual rising scale. The rising scale is kind of building tension, leading us back to the repetition, but it's giving us balance with all this kind of slightly disjunct movement. And then we go back into... and so on. And then we finish off with the A minor 7 and the rising scale. So it's a magical introduction, isn't it? At one level, it's all fairly straightforward. You might say, well, there's nothing over radical about this. But how many songs just don't go that extra step? You know, they might have a chord scheme that goes D minor, G minor, F, B flat, A minor, but then they wouldn't necessarily be going there with the extensions of those chords and writing a melodic line on top of it that really exploits the extended notes. and ends up with this lovely balance between that and the A minor 7 bar of just the rising scale. So I'm just suggesting in this video that that is the kind of magic that makes this introduction work so well. It connects with the song that follows because you get D minor 7 again, don't you, and G minor 7 of course, and then B flat major. You get all the same chord, A minor 7 again, and so on. So it connects with the song, but the introduction has got a voice of its own. That melodic line is saying something absolutely terrific, isn't it? And this is kind of what makes it work so magically. Anyway, those are my thoughts on it. You may have something else to say about it that you agree with, or you want to look at this in a different sort of way. Fine, post your comments below. It'll be great to have a discussion between ourselves on that matter. If you found this useful, you might want to go to our website, www.mmcourses.co.uk. There you'll find details of all of our online courses, lots of stuff on music theory, harmony, aural stuff, analysis, and so on. There's also a link on that homepage to our Maestros group, which may be of interest to you. Lots of perks in being a Music Matters Maestro, discounts on courses, other things there, but also access to our monthly live streams. It's a fantastic global community. We meet once a month. People can interact with each other on the live chat. You can ask questions. There's a sort of huge teaching input from me. And then we have one-to-one evaluation and feedback on members' compositions, performances, arrangements, anything you want to hand in. And the mutual support within that group is very positive and absolutely fabulous, something that the members enjoy very much. So that might be of interest to you as well. Meanwhile, enjoy Careless Whisper.